everyone, and welcome back to Coy Cube. That's Coy's Cinema, Curls, and Comics. I am very excited to be back. I just got back from Hawaii yesterday. I caught a corner, just a shade of the con crud, but I recovered quickly. I had to take a day to just kind of just be. So I slept a lot. I slept 9 hours last night. That doesn't really matter to you, but I have to tell you I feel better. All right, so we're going to get right into it. A lot has happened in the last week since I went away and came back. What up, facetious Christ? The news, I think the biggest news of the month is going to be the fact that Bob Iger is no longer Disney CEO. It said effective immediately, but the more we looked into it, it looked like it's actually going to be more of a transition. They already have their replacement for CEO. It's going to be a Bob Chapek, who is apparently the guy who runs a lot of the parks and all that jazz. I'm really curious what it looks like to have someone that runs the parks in charge of all this other stuff. Obviously, it's a giant company. They know what they're doing, and I'm sure they've accounted for all of this before the announcement. I'm just fascinated what the company looks like going forward, because Bob Iger's been there since the Marvel acquisition. He's been there for a lot of the Star Wars stuff. He's been there for basically the decade that has made Disney the company that it is today has been Bob Iger. So Bob Iger transitioning out is an incredibly big move. The statement they put out over at the Hollywood Reporter is basically saying he wants to focus on the more creative endeavors. So he wants to still be at the company, it sounds like, but bringing in a new CEO is going to be very interesting to the relationship with Kevin Feige, to the relationship with Kathleen Kennedy, all of the big stuff. Again, I have a lot of faith in Disney. They've done a lot in the last 10 years. They're a huge company. I can't imagine being CEO of something like that, much less transitioning into the role that Bob Iger has done an incredible job at wielding. But that did happen just yesterday. So the parks chief, Bob Chapek, I don't know anything about the guy. I don't actually know as much about Disney parks as many people. I'm more of the movie and TV show guy. I've only been to Disneyland once, never been to Disney World, but they're giant pieces of the puzzle that is Disney, so I'm sure this guy is brilliant. I'm curious what's gonna be, what's it gonna look like. So that was the big news. Again, everybody freaking out and saying it's the end of Marvel, it's the end of Star Wars, it's the end of blah blah blah. Like, that's just ridiculous. We don't know anything about how this restructuring is going to look. It could be business as usual for years, because I'm sure Bob Iger had years and years of things planned, and I'm sure this new guy transitioning in is going to handle things very well. So I really wouldn't worry about it. I don't know many CEOs at companies, so it's not as public as it is with the Disney situation because of how big that company is. But I'm really curious if we even notice a difference and when, and I'm excited. I think change is always exciting, so we'll see what happens. All right, we also found out, this isn't really news, but I was fascinated by it, and a lot of websites, since the internet's run by clicks, reported it, so I wanted to talk about it. The new James Bond movie is 2 hours and 43 minutes. The new James Bond is almost 3 hours long. The new James Bond is like Infinity War long. That is insane. It's called No Time to Die, but I would argue there is plenty of time to die in 2 hours and 43 minutes. That is a long runtime. 163 minutes. No time to pee. I'm very curious because it's Daniel Craig's last outing. It is Bond 25. If you guys know me, you know I am a giant fan of Daniel Craig as James Bond. I love the Craig Bond films. I even like the bad ones, but I love the good ones. Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace. James Bond is a franchise that I'm not going to be spinning that on the Schmodown wheel. I'm not even going to be encouraging as a manager, but I do love what that franchise represents. I think it has only grown better. I'm a big fan of the Brosnan ones. I've only seen a couple before that. I'm not going to lie. I'm not like a historian on James Bond. But these new Bonds are incredible. And to my knowledge, there has never been a 2 hour and 43 minute James Bond film. So we're going to get a great last kickoff with Daniel Craig. I think the trailers look fantastic. I love the fact that the trailers balance that really gritty Jason Bourne-esque James Bond. Isn't that funny how that worked out? Like, Jason Bourne was a commentary on James Bond. His name is JB, just like James Bond. And then the James Bond film started looking like the James Bourne movies, and now they're trying to balance out the Bond and Bourne-ness of it all. Movies are fascinating. Pop culture is crazy. So I'm really curious what this last film does, how it balances all of the tones, all of the things. The live chat is recommending a number of James Bond films. I will absolutely be looking into it. I need to. They're very good. Let's see, it's someone's birthday. I'm gonna try to do live chat questions, but the Streamlabs I'm always gonna check. I'm gonna check those between each story, and the super chats I will always see. But I saw birthday, and I'm really excited. Alan Reset, happy birthday! That's awesome. Birthdays are great. I'm a big fan of birthdays. So I was talking about James Bond, I think. I've really enjoyed the last few, and I'm really curious because Daniel Craig has said over and over again he is done playing James Bond, but those paychecks keep getting bigger and bigger, and this one I actually think is his last one, and I love the team involved. I wish it was Sam Mendes, but I'm curious to see where this goes. I love the Bond girls in this one. I love the car. Man, that shot with the car is incredible, and the action just looks... Like I said, the medley of the crazy James Bond grit and the insane action of the Pierce Brosnan and earlier era James Bond. So I'm very excited. So we will see how that goes. 2 hours and 43 minutes of James Bond is absolutely crazy. All right, we've also got James Mangold. This one is really exciting news for me because I am a giant James Mangold fan. We got 310 to Yuma. We've got Logan, obviously. We've got the brand spanking new Ford versus Ferrari, which was one of my movies of the year. Ford versus Ferrari actually was, if I had a vote for Best Picture, would have been my vote. I enjoyed Parasite, but Ford Ferrari was a masterpiece to me. So was Parasite, but Ford Ferrari spoke to me directly. So I really, really like James Mangold. I think he's a classic American director. Like, his films feel like Americana. They feel like the classic 70s stunt films or Steve McQueen's actually driving. They just have this very classic feeling. So I really, really like what Mangold represents as a director. The moment his movies start, they feel like films. So I love the idea of him taking over from Steven Spielberg for Indiana Jones 5. I am a big fan of this transition. I'm really, really curious what we get for... Old Man Jones, someone in the live chat. Old Man Jones, Randall Tan, excellent. I really am curious what Old Man Jones looks like. Harrison Ford is brilliant, man. And Harrison Ford, this story relates, it's not name dropping per se, but Harrison Ford is such a nice, considerate guy. I just think a lot of journalists want to ask him stupid shit, so it turns into him being like, seen as grumpy, but he's not grumpy. Thank you, Smack Talk. I'll be looking at the Streamlabs in just a second. Smack Talk 5, I appreciate you. So I think Indiana Jones is a franchise I'd love to see end on a good note. I always like when a franchise gets to come back and kind of finish things up. I want a Lethal Weapon 5. I'm cool with Indy 5 as long as they handle it right. I think that the fourth one would be a bad way to end it. I personally love Shia LaBeouf, but not Mutt Williams or whatever his name was. So I really think Indy 5 can end well. And the reason I'm going to say the Harrison Ford thing is because at Ford versus Ferrari, Harrison Ford was there talking with James Mangold. So I'm really curious if the premiere was laying these seeds, if James Mangold and Harrison Ford have been friends, if they know each other. I was curious why Harrison Ford is at Ford versus Ferrari hanging out at the after party. Now it makes some sense. I thought maybe just because of the last name Ford, but no. Perhaps because back then James Mangold was already in talks to talk Harrison Ford. And man, Harrison Ford is just the coolest. I agree. His don't give a shit attitude is inspiring. Also, I got to talk to him at the Ford versus Ferrari premiere, and I just told him straight up, like, the way he treats journalists, I think is inspiring, because if we're not doing our job, we should, like, if we don't respect the actor's time, then they don't deserve to give us respect. And I told him that, and I thanked him. And he said, if there's dead air, it's theirs. And I will hold on to that quote for the rest of my time. And I got the Harrison point. We literally talked about integrity in journalism and what it means to give a shit about your job. And Harrison Ford's an actor's actor, man. He gives a shit about his job. I think journalists should give a shit if they're going to spend time with someone like Harrison Ford. So basically he was saying, like, if there's a long pause, if there's anything awkward in the interview, it's on the journalist, man. It's on the host. Our job as hosts is to keep the pace, is to be the one asking intelligent questions. So I love the fact that he doesn't stand for bullshit. I love Harrison Ford. So we will see how that all goes. I'm going to jump over to Streamlabs. I'm fascinated by this James Mangold Indy 5 news because I think it could be a great sign for everything. All right, we've got from Smack Talk 5. Your fandom needs a name. As a member of the Koi Pond, I suggest Pond Scum, in keeping with the sweaty and filthy motif set by your contemporaries. Hashtag Pond Scum. So that's very funny to me. I consider my people the Koi Pond. So I'm Koi, and y'all are the Koi Pond because y'all are swimming in the stream, the live stream. You're swimming in the live chat situation. So I think y'all are the Koi Pond. I'm just Koi. So the koi pond is y'all. If y'all want to call yourself pond scum, that feels very. I like the scum and villainy. The like. There's something 80s and gritty about that. So if you want to go pond scum, I support it. I appreciate you, Smack Talk 5. Also, you've been Smack Talk 3 and 4 in my Streamlabs, so keep on leveling up the Smack Talk. So you and Facetious Christ, always in the Streamlabs. I appreciate you. Streamlabs is the best way for me to jump over and make sure I get your question, because I'm going to be cruising through the news, because I got to wrap up at like 1:40 today. It is much obliged. All right, let's see. We're talking about sweaters. Fascinated. Okay, let's talk about Planet of the Apes is getting a sequel. The Planet of the Apes situation is not a reboot. It's not a remake, which is good because the last franchise was incredible. I am so glad it is a sequel because, frankly, this gives us the opportunity to grow more with the world of Caesar. I think that those movies are some of the best modern action films of our time. Those movies are... You empathize with CGI apes, they're so good. You see how bad humanity can be, they're so good. You can see a lot about humanity reflected in the inhumane, and that's the beauty of what they did with the mocap. And I think the future of mocap is looking towards those kind of films because, frankly, I want more of that and less Jurassic World. I want Jurassic World to go back to Jurassic Park, and I want Planet of the Apes to be the things going forward. Look at Thanos. Thanos was largely... possible because of the Planet of the Apes film. So I really think there's a lot of opportunity. William Bibiani in the chat. What up, Bibbs? How are you, man? We got some cool stuff coming down the Schmo pipeline, and Bibbs in the chat warms my heart. What up, man? So yeah, I really think there's a great opportunity for this franchise to be something very special, continue to be something very special, and keep influencing the world of cinema. It is absolutely insane. Bibb says, I mean, look, they were all literally leading to the actual Planet of the Apes. Yeah, we haven't actually gotten to the Charlton Heston fallout, or let's talk about the Tim Burton fallout if we want, or let's talk about the Kevin Smith Planet of the Apes madness. We haven't actually gotten there yet, so I would not mind if we have a new trilogy, because if it's as good as the old trilogy or quadrilogy, then we're in great hands. So yes, I agree, Bibbs. We are almost to the actual Planet of the Apes. Gimme that statue. I want it. Or even the Abraham Lincoln one. Just give me something statuesque. We also found out this week, speaking of sequels, we're getting a Friends sequel, which is the total other side, man. Let's go to TV. I didn't think this would ever happen. The amount of paperwork and logistics of a syndicated show was already crazy. Plus, all these actors, this was, 15 plus years ago. So I can't imagine the schedule these folks have. They've all moved on to successful careers. They're all on shows and movies. We are getting a reunion sequel with the Friends cast, the entire cast. And they announced via Instagram by saying it's happening. All 6 of them. There's something, just the novelty of that I am all about. I was really excited to hear this. I know friend of the show, Roxy Stryer, must have lost her mind. I can't imagine how excited Roxy is. I'm a big Friends fan. I know a lot of people have fallen out of love with it as time has progressed, but I think Friends is fantastic. I am all for this giant reunion sequel. I'm so excited. So that was announced this week while I was gone. Someone's saying not a sequel. I keep hearing it's a sequel. It's an unscripted episode, so it might just be a Q&A. Okay. I kept hearing it was a sequel, but again, I was popping around Hawaii. All right. Well, you know what? Let's see. I'm down for unscripted. I'm down for, I'd prefer a sequel, but I'm also down for like a friends sit around and talk about stuff, because I watch all of the Actor Studio stuff as a host. I like watching actors on actors and like the THR and all those things. So if they do like a retrospective on Friends, I'm still there. If they do an episode, I'll be really happy. But thank you for letting me know in the chat, folk. All right, we also got, we're going to switch over to the most expensive clip show ever. Scott, you might be right. All right, we're going to switch over to completely different stuff. I'm going to check Streamlabs real quick to make sure I didn't miss anybody, because I am often looking down and don't see the little monster thing pop up on screen. All right, so we're going to pop over to the Wilder Fury fight, man. If you're watching this show, you know that one of the C's in Koi Cubed is curls. I want to talk about that fight, man. The undercard was great. I only caught 2 of the fights, but I really want to talk about the main event. This was a movie, right? Like, Rocky is built on the concept of unbelievable odds and impossible scripted expectations. This was a fight with two fighters who were undefeated, who have fought for years. Both of these fighters had never lost a fight, and then when they fought, it was a draw. Absurd. Like, stats like that do not actually happen in real life. That's only in movies. Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber, has one of the craziest hooks I've ever seen. Like, the dude knocks people down, knocks people out, and he did take down Tyson Fury for 8 seconds, and then he popped back up because that dude has a chin like nobody's business. And then on the other side, Tyson Fury's story is insane. The guy was a world champion who has struggled with horrible mental health issues, and then was effectively suicidal, who was suicidal and gained a ton of weight, and then was inspired by the Bronze Bomber himself to get back in shape because Deontay Wilder said it would never happen. So the dude lost 10 stone. The dude trained his butt off just for this fight and then came back and had a draw and then won. It's a movie. This is cinema. It doesn't hurt that Tyson Fury sounds like the Pikey in Snatch. It doesn't hurt that the guy has so much charisma and attitude, and he's such an advocate for mental health. I personally love the way he speaks to mental health. He doesn't hide his beliefs. He's very strong and committed to speaking towards people getting better. What he's been able to accomplish inspires me. I've gone on some runs this week because of watching his videos, watching him talk about how to just persevere. The dude's an inspiration. I'm a big Tyson Fury fan. And then Deontay Wilder is certainly not a slouch. The things he's been able to do in boxing are absolutely incredible. So this fight meant the world to me. I was very excited to see it. All 7 rounds were absolutely insane. I'm really stoked. Alan Reset, check my Twitter mentions at some point. You, Reset, I think 2 live streams ago, you sent me a super chat at the last second before I actually had time to see it. Like, it closed right as you sent it, and I did get your Comixology link. I am currently 3 weeks behind on comics. When I catch up, I am there. So I will make sure to check that out, and I'll see. I haven't seen Amy since our show ended. So, but I saw that. I will check it out. Thank you for the super chat, and I see that. Thank you. All right. So let's see. People are talking. See you later, Jake. What else we got? Yeah, the dodges. We're gonna get back to the fight. Tyson, the way he moves like a video game character. He literally is 6'7" and over 250 pounds, and he moves faster than most featherweights. Like, I've never seen anyone that has that much mobility and flexibility at 6'7". He is incredible, and he's got that Conor McGregor swag. They train together, and that's probably part of why Proper 12 was one of the sponsors on the floor. So I've got a lot of bias there. Big Tyson Fury fan. I thought the fight was absolutely incredible. And Fury would run through the current WWE roster in my not wrestling opinion. I don't know anything about wrestling, but everyone in the live chat talking about Amy. I miss Amy too. She's over at DC. I don't get to see her much. Anytime our schedules work out, we will be doing team ups, but I have not seen Miss Dolan in some time. So yeah, I was really impressed with all that. I don't love necessarily the Deontay Wilder comments after saying that his suit was too heavy and that threw off his legs. The guy trains with 45-pound vests on. I know for a fact he's talked about it on record. He trains with 45-pound weights. I get that suit was heavy, but like, I like when people are humble in defeat, man. I like when people, when they lose, they own it. It's hard. I've never boxed professionally. I've trained, but I've never boxed professionally. I've never been in a ring and had money on me and then lost. 6'9", you're right. He is taller than 6'7". Holy crap, 6'9", that's absurd. Anyway, so I've never been in that position. I can't imagine what it's like. But that said, he lost. I'm excited for the trilogy fight. I'm excited for, he called in his sequel clause. There will be another fight. I don't love the fact that he's blaming his walkout outfit. And also, if you've seen the clip between round 6 and round 7, he should have been called out round 6. At the end of round 6, he was barely conscious going into round 7. That last round 7 bit, like, him getting upset at his trainers for throwing in the towel, I don't think that's fair. I think that it basically, and this is, dude, I'm just a guy. Like, I don't know shit about shit, but own it, Like, I think his team threw in the towel when they should have. I think it could have been really, really bad. And getting hit by Tyson Fury is life-changing. The dude, Deontay Wilder, shattered an eardrum. He had to go to the hospital because his eardrum ruptured during that fight. Take him out. Because I want 3, and I think boxers, like, you're playing the long game here. Like, don't end your life in a ring. But I'm really excited to see Wilder's 6'7", Fury's 6'9". Thank you, live chat. Yeah, I'm really excited to see the trilogy. I think it's going to Tyson Fury. Big Fury fan. I'm curious what he does with Anthony Joshua. I'm curious if the Joshua Fury fight happens. I think he could be everything in the heavyweight division. So, enough boxing for here. Let's get back over to movies. I'll be talking about comics near the end of the show, Trevor. Eli Roth is doing a Borderlands sequel, Borderlands movie. I have never played Borderlands, but it's on my list. I have a PS4 that only has the Spider-Man game in it. I've gotten a few games since. They are unopened. I need to play Borderlands very badly. So I'm very, very hopeful for this, especially with the success of Sonic. I hope that with the success of Sonic, we see more credibility given to these movies. I think maybe in like 5 or 6 years, hopefully we can do what we did with comic book movies, where video game movies get to be as inventive and creative, but with the logistics and the know-how to make them as consistent as they need to be. We need to fix the video game genre as movies, because I think they can be translatable, especially something like your Uncharted, which has been in development forever. I don't know if something like Final Fantasy, which takes 80 hours to play, can be put into something, maybe a miniseries, but I really think you can do something really special with Borderlands and some of these other adaptations, and I'm excited. I haven't really followed either Eli Roth's work, because I'm not big on like the horror, like torture genre, but curious, and I really want the video game genre to have more credibility, and I know a lot of you guys are video game fans, so I would love to see that do well. And I also, while we're on the video game subject and the Sonic subject, I haven't seen Sonic yet. I was out of town. It's doing very well, but it's doing fairly comparable numbers to Birds of Prey, and I feel like people are using that to shit on Birds of Prey, and it's gross. Birds of Prey has made its money back. It's damn near made its production budget, advertising budget, everything else back. People are seeing it as a failure because they're comparing it to other things. I like Birds of Prey, and I think the way that people are handling the commentary on its box office is really gross. I don't mind like number 1, number 2, number 3, or like this worked and this didn't, but there's a lot of times that people like attack movies by using other movies, and I never understand that. I never thought we'd be arguing like Sonic versus Harley Quinn with any real like malice. Like, we're winning. It's great there's a Sonic and Harley Quinn movie in the theater. Celebrate. Don't be a dick. Yeah, it's just I've seen a lot of Twitter that's been gross. So it's actually like I've been feeling the like get off of social media urge more than ever lately, and I'm just like on it less. But that said, I'm really excited for Sonic. I'm really excited to see it myself, and I'm really hoping to have this shift things into better video game movies, because I think now's the time with technology, with fan fervor, with where fandom is, with Comic-Cons being so big. Video games are right there. They're right there. So hopefully we get there. So, all right, I'm going to go over check Streamlabs real quick in between stories. And we are Ash Arnold. All right, Ash Arnold says, "Hey, Coy, I don't have a question. Just wanted to thank you for everything you've done." Oh, thanks so much. I got back into comics, and I'm making my first short film because of you and your positivity. If I ever come back to the UK, if I ever come back to the UK, you'll buy me a pint. Thank you so much, Ash Arnold. That means the world. Make stuff. Always make stuff. I'm doing this on my phone because I'm at my old place, and my new place has the new camera. I'm literally streaming on my phone because that's where technology is. Always be creating. Art is anything that makes you feel, man. So if you make something that makes someone else feel, you've made art. If it makes you feel something, you made art. Get stuff out of your head. Get it on paper. Get it on screen. Get it anywhere, because now's the time, and it's so dope. We have iMovie on our cell phones, and whatever the Windows equivalent is. I just don't know because I have an iPhone. But make shit. So thank you, Ash Arnold. That is incredible. I'm so glad I can inspire anything positive and creative. That means the world to me. Jeremiah Morris. I may be late, but how's the trip to Hawaii? The trip to Hawaii is in 2 stories. You're not late. I'm going to get to Hawaii in just a minute, but I appreciate you. Thank you for jumping in the Streamlabs. Jeremiah Morris, I will talk in Hawaii very, very soon. And thank you, Ash Arnold, for making shit. And anything I've done to inspire that means the world. Thank you. All right, back over to Boom. What up? I see a lot of Koi Pond love in here. Hell yeah. All right, Paul Denuzio, excellent human being. Chris Adams, excellent human being. I don't have time to read, but you guys are great. I appreciate you. Back over to, this is a serious subject. Let's kick it down a notch to the Ben Affleck comments this week. That's crazy to me. Basically, he was saying that he looked at the comments from working on the Batman films and was worried about his alcoholism by doing a Batman film. It was the gist I got out of it. I don't have the quotes in front of me, but what I got was he knew that he was struggling with alcoholism, and he knew that doing another film might push him over the edge. And that is... Guys, like, the shit we say online affects people. Like, it's crazy that so many people think that because someone's in a movie or because someone's a 2D, avatar, that they're not a person. Like, the shit you say has ramifications, man. So the fact that Ben Affleck, who has survived some dark times in this industry, who has survived, the Geely fallout, the divorce, the guy's been through it, man. And love or hate Affleck, he's a human. I'm a big Affleck fan. I love the guy. But he's a human being, and the fact that he literally opted out of something that was right there on the cusp of happening, directing and starring in a Batman film, it's insane to me that he came out publicly and just said, like, yo, I was worried it was going to affect my stuff. Like, I so much respect for him for owning, the darkness he's going through. So much respect for, Warner Brothers for letting him gracefully step aside. So much respect for all of that. And I'm excited to see his new movie, which deals with alcoholism, directed by the team behind Warrior. Gavin O'Connor's an incredible director. I'm really excited to see Gavin O'Connor team up with him again. They did The Accountant, which I think is extremely underrated. The Accountant's fantastic. Yeah, I'm really excited for the way back. I personally casually drink, but I've definitely had times that I was worried I was drinking too much. I definitely enjoy drinking as something to, take the edge off. And that's scary because I got lots of edges, and I can easily see that being a slippery slope. I don't personally think of myself as someone that struggles with alcoholism directly, but I have. I drank when I was young, man. I was too young to drink, and I did, and I regret a lot of those decisions. So I just... big ups to Affleck for taking a stand, saying what he had to say, and it's a real bummer because Batfleck was brilliant, man. The scene with Ben Affleck as Batman in the warehouse is one of the best action scenes in a comic book film ever. The iconography of him as Frank Miller's Batman is one of the best visuals we've had in comic book films. It is an actual shame the way everything went down, but I'm so glad. It's more important to me that Ben Affleck the person is okay, that Ben Affleck the man is able to see what he's doing and to get better than we have even another Batman film ever. So good for Ben Affleck. I hope he's happy, man. I have much love for that guy. So just remember, your words have impact. Like, just because you spit them into the void seemingly innocuously doesn't mean that the person receiving them, like, some shit you say, you'll find it later and be like, fuck, I did that. Just I don't know, keep the ramifications in mind. Remember that everything has a consequence. All right, let's see. Ragged, good on you, man. That's hard. That's incredible. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna switch over to happier tidings. But yeah, just be better. Always be better. Better than yesterday. Just be a little nicer than yesterday. Do a kind thing every day. Just level up. Can't hurt. Just be better. Okay, we're gonna switch it over to other Batman stuff. Let's try to transition to happier tidings. Battinson. Last show I did, we talked about the Robert Pattinson Batsuit. We had the test camera footage with the bathed in red, so you couldn't quite see the color. I took that to mean we were probably getting a blue tinged cape, a blue tinged cowl, maybe a blue tinged accents. I think I was wrong, because now we've seen some stunt footage of the suit, and okay, it's a stunt suit, which means it's not going to be as detailed. It's going to be shaped a little differently. It's going to be a different actor wielding it, and it needs to have different padding and different rigidity. That is not the suit that is going to be rendered in close-ups. That's not the suit that's going to be modified with editing, cinematography, the reshaping it. And I love the stunt suit. I think it looks fantastic. There's some details I don't love that I think will be paved out in the actual suit, like when we actually see it in close-ups. This is a stuntman. I can't wait to see Pattinson in that suit, or akin to that suit. The Year Zero nods, the fact that it looks just like a Greg Capullo design, I am so happy about. The fact that it looks like he actually built this from the ground up. This doesn't look like something that there's 500 of that's been manufactured. It looks like a handmade out of metal guy who's not all there trying to be a bat, and that is Batman to me, and I am so excited. I love the little bit of cowl with the cape. I can't wait to see that with the suit we just got. I'm assuming they're going to do a CGI cape, or all of that's going to be added in post on the bike, or maybe this is a scene before he gets it, who knows. But the gauntlets, I think are really interesting, because that mirrors a lot of the earliest Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo stuff with some of the villains. I think that the bike itself reminds me of Year Zero, which a lot of people in the chat are saying. I think that the ears, a lot of people are hating on the ears. I think it looks like when you see a guy on a motorcycle with the fun little bat ears, it looks more practical. It looks more like something that would actually happen in real life. I love the amount of utility belt. I like the metal the more I see it. I'm really stoked. I think it's a really cool bat suit. When the pictures came out and everybody got upset, I was like, guys, this is the stunt suit, but it looks like Batman. I think it's so cool. So I think, and I do think it'll take inspiration from the run that it looks like. I do think there'll be some Year Zero nods. I do think the fact that Riddler is such a big piece of Scott Snyder's run is not a coincidence that we know Riddler's in it. I don't think we're gonna get as far as Robin. Maybe in the very end of Button. I think maybe we'll have the Flying Graysons mentioned in the sequel. We get a Robin. Either way, we haven't had a Robin in a while. I think we'll get there. But I'm excited, man. I think it's gonna look great. All right, let me click over to the Streamlabs, where we have Paul Denuzio. My favorite Marvel character is Hercules. What are the chances we get Hercules in the MCU, even though we kind of already did with Hercules Ragnarok? I mean, Thor Ragnarok. I see what you did there. I do believe that Hercules being a brand... He's a character that works for both DC and Marvel because he's mythology. So DC has a Hercules, Marvel has a Hercules. I think the best chance of us getting Hercules is actually in a Thor film, because I think the kind of character he is would work mythology, over-the-top humor, the way Thor's going now anyway. And you could have someone like actually embody him at an 11, like an over-the-top way. So I think that the only way we'll get Hercules is in Thor. I personally don't think we get a solo Hercules film, because I think it would confuse a lot of people, especially with The Rock. He played the mythical Hercules like 5 years ago. I think that would confuse. I do think that we'll see maybe the character in a team-up setting. I do think we'll potentially get Hercules as an entity in a Thor film, because he's a lot of fun in the comics. Even what Dragon Ball Z as Hercule, I'd love to see like an over-the-top take on that character. And I've seen some really fun casting ideas. But I don't know if we'll see him in anything as mainstream. Someone literally in the live chat just said Doctor Strange 2. I don't know if the tonality would work there, because they're leaning more thriller mysticism, and I'm not sure if someone that's like... Because the post-credit scene with Thor and Doctor Strange was fantastic, but I don't know if that would work for an entire film, and I don't know if that would work for the tone they'd need to show Hercules in. I like the idea, I'm not sure how long he'd be involved. So maybe. We also have in the Streamlabs, you have Facetious Christ. Oh man, Facetious, you're the best. No question, in all caps by the way, which I respect. No question, just a couple bucks, you can keep feeding the koi pond. Much obliged. Thank you very much. As you guys know, this is my main thing right now, so every bit helps. Sincerely, it means the world. I feel weird even having any of this up, but having the option really means a lot to me. Thank you very much. Y'all are incredible. Thank you, Facetious Christ. All right, yeah, Mr. Satan, Hercule, that's right. Let's see, what if The Rock came back to play Hercules in the MCU? That would confuse everyone, man. Can you imagine if he played Hercules from the MCU when he had just played Hercules, the mythical guy, and he also was playing Black Adam? The world may implode. That would be a lot. Let's see. The Brie Larson She-Hulk rumors. I don't know, man. I like Brie Larson. Oh shit, wait, I said Brie Larson, I meant Alison Brie. I like Alison Brie a lot. I think she's really well spoken, which is so important for Jennifer Walters. I think she's intelligent, which is obviously very important for Jennifer Walters. I think she has the physicality. I think she trains wicked hard. I saw a training video of her and Zac Efron, and the way someone's willpower is in the gym means a lot to me as how they'll be as an actor, and that might be my own bias and selfishness, but I think she could absolutely do damage as She-Hulk. I picture She-Hulk a little taller, but that's semantics. Hugh Jackman's 6 foot and Wolverine's 5'5", so that doesn't affect me that much. Tom Hardy's my height, and he looks huge when they shoot him creatively. But I do think that she's an option. I don't know how much the rumors are true, or it's a fan cast that got out of hand, but let's see. All right, we've got some super chats. I know it's off topic. My 5-year-old nephew is suddenly really into comics. Are there any good children lines of comics that you could recommend? Oh, it would be my pleasure. Currently, right now, at Marvel Comics, there is a Spider-Man Venom line geared towards children. As we speak, that is being printed. It is called Oh, I think it's called Spider-Man Venom Double Trouble, and they're like body swapping, they're roommates, it's really cute because they're roommates, it's fantastic. That is a great line. Ultimate Spider-Man is probably a little older, I'd say like 10 to 11, so it's nothing inappropriate, but I don't know if he'd get as much out of it as I think a 10-year-old would. 5-year-old nephew. Oh, dude, the entire DC young adults line. There's an entire line. You can literally, it's a different format, they're more like little graphic novels. You can go to any comic store and ask them where the DC young adult line is, and there's an entire cavalcade. I'm a big thing of Swamp Kid, which is a young Swamp Thing nod. The Secret Spiral of Swamp Kid. It's literally a book that looks like it's sketched on the side of a notebook, like a spiral notebook. So it's Secret Spiral. So it's him taking notes in his notebook during school, and it's Swamp Kid, and it teaches kids about nature and endangered animals and animals in general, and it's like got a lot of really gross stuff. So like a nephew might be into it, because like when I was 5, I was definitely into like bugs and worms and stuff. So the Secret Spiral of Swamp Kid and anything in the DC Young line, as well as Spider-Man Venom Double Trouble. I hope that helped. Jason Ritchie. I think you're the Jason Ritchie I know from Boston. What up? So yeah, I hope that helped. That would be what I recommend. Am I gonna see Invisible Man? If so, have I seen Upgrade? I have seen Upgrade. It was a fantastic movie. I love that. I don't know if it was stunt casting or not, but Logan Marshall Green, who looks just like frickin' Tom Hardy, playing a Venom-esque character, was brilliant and inspired. I am a big fan. I thought it was very funny. I really enjoyed Upgrade. It made my top 20 of the year. I really, really dug it. And then Invisible Man, I am seeing because of Upgrade. I am not much of a horror fan generally, but because of Upgrade, I will be giving it my dollars and my time, because I get scared easy, and the idea of being afraid of just invisibility is going to affect me, y'all, just in general. I'm ready to be afraid. So, yeah, I will be seeing Invisible Man, and thank you for the question, and I haven't yet. I need to see Sonic, then Invisible Man, and The Photograph, because I'm a big Lakeith Stanfield fan, so I have a lot to see. So that'll be as I'm moving and getting all this set up. Ragged Company Recordings. Just send some love. Much obliged, man. Thank you. I appreciate you. No question, just thank you. Mohammed Anson asks, am I excited for Lindelof's The Hunt? Dude, Damon Lindelof he can do no wrong, man. Damon Lindelof is an absolute beast of creativity. I even like the end of Lost. I said it out loud. Goodbye, career. No, but I think Damon Lindelof, especially after Watchmen, whatever he does next is going to be very, very high expectation. People are going to be looking to see what is after Watchmen, so I have high expectations for The Hunt, and I am very curious about it. Anything Lindelof's name's on, I'm in. And the dude's a ride or die sweaty, man. He's a Wednesday warrior. Damon Lindelof goes to the comic store every week. He's the only guest I've had in comic book shopping that was actively aware of every book on the shelf. Like, he'd walk down the shelf and we'd talk about each and everything. So I was challenged to find things he didn't know, and I only found like 7 or 8 books he didn't know, which is insane. If you watch the Damon Lindelof episode of Comic Book Shopping, we had such a good time. It was like 2 kids in a candy store, because he knows comic books, man. Damon Lindelof is fantastic. Also, speaking of comic book shopping, I'm filming one maybe as early as Tuesday. So that show's coming back. We have a guest that I'm very excited about, and we were supposed to film yesterday, but both mine and the guest, I almost said his name, both mine and the guest's schedules conflicted, so Comic Book Shopping will be back probably 2 weeks after Tuesday. We filmed Tuesday, and then a couple weeks later, we should have it out. So new Comic Book Shopping with someone that appreciates the curls part of Coy's Comic Cinnamon Curls. And we're going to talk martial arts comics and a lot of other ideas. I'm very excited for Comic Book Shopping. It's a guest I'm really excited to hang out with. All right. Thank you, Edward Pascal. I'm very proud of that show. I appreciate it. I'm a big fan of Comic Book Shopping. All right. We're going to get back to the news. Speaking of comic books, excellent transition. Not tooting myself the horn. I'm transitioning from you guys asking about comics. We have a new comic that is now my new second most anticipated comic of 2020. My number one, as you guys may know, is Strange Adventures, which is, of course, Tom King, Mitch Gerads, Doc Shaner, the Mr. Miracle team plus Doc Shaner doing a book about perspective, about memory, about how you perceive the world, and it's got superheroes, is exactly my shit. Strange Adventures comes out next month. It's my most anticipated book of 2020. It has been since Q2 2019. I am so excited for this book. Strange Adventures is... I couldn't be more ready. But my new number 2 most anticipated book of 2020 is Spider-Man Nonstop, y'all. Joe Kelly, one of my favorite writers and now friend. Guys, I got to hang out with Joe Kelly, and now he's a homie, and it's the coolest feeling in the world that one of my favorite writers ever knows who I am. We're friends on Twitter. It's insane. Guys, it's so cool. The world's great. Anyway, Joe Kelly, brilliant writer, wicked funny. He's actually one of the books I'm going to be talking about when we go through my my comic book catch-up. Joe Kelly is teaming up with Chris Pacello, noted Spider-Man artist. Incredible line work, hyper energetic. He's done works on multiple lines of Spider-Man. He's a great X-Men artist. Big fan of Chris Pacello. Chris Pacello, Joe Kelly teaming up for Spider-Man Nonstop. That is now my number 2 anticipated book of the year. I'm excited for another Spidey run, especially something written by Joe Kelly, drawn by Chris Pacello. All in, very excited. Give me that. Let's see. Ooh, I like your picks for She-Hulk there, sir. Arkham James Jr. Is your name Arkham? That's dope, man. Okay, Kerry Washington, Priyanka Chopra, sorry, it's scrolling, Jonas, should be incredible. Kristen Bell, Kylie Bunbury, Anne Hathaway, Rosario Dawson, Olivia Wilde, Constance Wu, or Blake Lively. I'm going to add Emily Blunt to that mix if she's not Sue Storm. If she is not Sue Storm, I would love to see Emily Blunt. She is well-spoken. She has incredible physicality, incredible determination. I could see her as both a lawyer, Jennifer Walters, and as She-Hulk herself. So I would add, that list is great. I would only add Emily Blunt to it. Fantastic list. Okay, we're going to kick it over to What Up the Schmo Way. Amazing Comic-Con. Just got back from Amazing Comic-Con. Want to talk to you guys about it. It was an absolute whirlwind of glory. I got to meet a lot of you guys. I got to meet a lot of people that are just deep into comics. I got to hang out with Donnie Cates, who I've known forever. Donnie and I got to talk about the state of all of his books. I did an hour-long, 45-minute-long sit-down with Donnie Cates on camera, which I think I'll be able to... So I said... This is my Coy exclusive. When I tweeted out or Instagrammed, however you guys saw it, that I wouldn't be able to do a Friday stream, but I had a surprise for you guys. I have an exclusive interview with Donnie Cates. 45 minutes, Donnie and I talking, and I'll be able to theoretically post that on my YouTube, so that'll be just for you guys. So subscribe to this YouTube, tell other people to subscribe. I'm going to try to get a lot of exclusives with my friends that are in the comic community and the acting community and all those things to do interviews here for you, and I got one with Donnie Cates. Very excited about it. Donnie's the man. So we talked Venom, Thanos, Thor, Silver Surfer Black. We talked everything, and Donnie's the man. So I got to hang out with him and Megan. Very excited to share that with you guys. That was the exclusive that I'm making up for missing a stream on Friday by giving you guys that. I'm so stoked. Hopefully within the week, I got to get the footage. I didn't film it, so I'm going to be hunting down the footage. Someone else filmed it for me, so that's going to be happening. So excited. Donnie's the man. Anyway, we talked about all that. What else happened? My buddy Jason David Frank and I, he's the Green Ranger, also have some cool stuff cooking. That'll be to be continued. That's a deeper push. That's a long game idea, but we got some cool stuff coming for you. I also sat down with the cast of My Hero Academia. I hung out with I met a bunch of really cool Instagram kids that are they renewed my faith in humanity, man. These kids were like 15 to 17, and they have millions of Instagram followers, and they literally knew more about politics, about the world, about how to treat people, about mental health, about body shaming, about so many things that I ever expected for anyone of their age, and they really impressed me. Every time I talked to these girls, they were just so aware of the world. So I hung out with them a few times. I actually have another post. I'll be posting on Instagram about that. Played a bunch of Smash Bros, a lot of comic creatives. Talked to Billy D. Williams a bit. Billy D. Williams and I talked about like music influences, jazz to hip hop, Donald Glover. We talked about the shape of Star Wars. We talked about Hawaii and how it's evolved. Billy D's the man. Like Billy D and I got along really well. We had a bunch of really good talks, so that was really cool. What else happened? It was 5 days of madness. I went ziplining for the first time. Ziplining is absolutely incredible. I am terrified of heights. If you guys haven't noticed, I'm a bit of a baby. I don't like horror movies. I don't like heights. I'm there. But I loved it. My first 2 zip lines were pure terror. I got to do 7. The other 5 were amazing. By the 6th one, I was running and jumping off and catching speed. I got to 20 miles per hour on a quarter-mile zip line in Oahu. Insane. Did my first luau. Talked to Bosch, who's Young Bosch. What's his first name? Johnny Young Bosch, who is the Black Ranger and the Green Ranger and a bunch of other voices. He's Devil May Cry. Incredible voice actor, incredible mocap actor, great actor. Who else did I hang out with? It was a great con, and I'm hoping to get a bunch of footage for you guys, and I'm really excited. Oh, yeah. Mark Paul Gosselaar, thank you for knowing my own week better than me, Ragged Recordings. Yeah, Mark Paul Gosselaar and I talked about the Saved by the Bell reboot. We talked about everything that's coming with the Mixed-ish and with those worlds of sitcoms. I'm a big fan of, I'm a newly big fan of Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 23, so we talked about him playing himself opposite James Van Der Beek playing himself. That was a lot of fun. Mark Paul Gosselaar is fantastic. Yeah, it was crazy. It was a really good weekend. If you guys don't know Amazing Con, do head over to Twitter, Instagram, any of those things. They have a show in Vegas in June, which I'm going to, and a show every year in February in Hawaii, which I go to. So if you guys haven't checked out Amazing Con, if you live in either of those places or can travel, Amazing Con is about comics. It's still about comics, and all the guests they have are amazing. I am a huge fan of Amazing Con. They're a fantastic con, so check them out. Find them on Twitter, Instagram, tell them I sent you. And then if you guys are close, come to Vegas. I can't talk about the guests yet, but I heard a couple ideas of who the guests are, and it is insane. So come to Vegas. It is in June. Meet me, meet a bunch of awesome people. Amazing con. Absolutely incredible. Let's see. Yeah, Zipline was scary, Ivan Soto, man. Jason David Frank is every Power Ranger. Yes. Nolan Dean, Donnie Cates, the best comic writer working. It made me like Venom and Carnage. I've never been a fan of them before. Nolan Dean, absolutely. He is heavy metal as fuck. Yeah, I did post about those kids on Insta, Buff, and they were fantastic. The React kids, I didn't meet them, I don't think. Anyway, back to the world of news. So Amazing Comic-Con was awesome. I'll be posting about it more. It was a great time. I had such a fun week, just kind of like working. I like working nonstop, and they were like 12-hour days. Big fan. Okay, we also got Schmodown news. Guys, it's on YouTube. You've probably seen it, so I'm going to spoil it. We won. The Real Rejects have won. We are now a 2-5 team. I knew my Rejects had it in them. We trained very specifically. I had an idea of how they needed to go into that battle, and they handled it exactly. We have new things cooking with the Real Rejects. I'm not gonna give anything too far away, but more Real Reject stuff is coming. We got some cool ideas for Haley Fouch. We've got some Shazam stuff down the line. Yeah, so I'm really proud of my faction. I'm really excited for the Quirky Mercs to keep owning. I'm really proud of the Real Rejects. Everything from how they played, to their entrance, to their training. They really, really put in the work. I'm really excited for where the Quirky Mercs are going. We are now the number 3 team in the factions, and that's only because we've only played twice. We're going to keep crushing it. We had a TKO in our first in-studio fight. Very proud of my faction. And yeah, I got some ideas. And once again, I got some ideas for those last 2 spots, and hopefully I can announce if things go well and that everything works out very soon. Very soon. Thank you. I'm very proud of that entrance. Yeah, also that entrance was like devised over the course of like 2 weeks, and then on the day a giant change happened, so I'm so glad that worked out. It was really funny. I want entrance of the year, I want team of the year, I want player of the year, I want faction of the year. We're coming for all them belts. I want every belt. So yeah, Quirky Mercs putting in the work. I'm really proud of us. Alright, so we also, this week, I talked about comic book shopping. I can announce that guest probably after Tuesday. I can talk about the Amazing Comic-Con guests for Vegas probably as soon as next month. And then when I have that information, I'll give you guys ticket info, all that jazz, because I think that's going to be really special, and it's really going to be specific to you guys. And yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Now, you guys want to talk comic books? I'm going to check over in Streamlabs, and we'll get back to actual comic books themselves. Streamlabs, what do we got? Oh, okay, Streamlabs is good. It just froze for a second. All right. Coycast for She-Hulk, Emily Blunt. If not Emily Blunt, I like Jennifer Garner. I like, honestly, the list that I read out earlier. I am a big fan of everyone listed. It was way back up in the scroll, but earlier someone had a fan cast list, and I thought they were all fantastic. For me, personally, the Coycast is Emily Blunt. I think her in Edge of Tomorrow is so badass, and Jennifer Walters needs to be able to be a badass in and out of She-Hulk. And I think Emily Blunt, if she's not Sue Storm, would be a fantastic Jennifer Walters. That is mine. King Thor is amazing. Okay, let's kick it over to comic books. Guys, as you know, I am playing Rapid Catch-Up. I haven't fixed my hair yet. I will be reading, I'm finishing up February 12th books today, so that leaves me the 19th books, which I'll finish probably over the weekend, and then I'll be caught up. So I'll probably do 2 weeks of comics on the next stream, and then I'll finally be caught up. I've been reading on every plane I've been on. I've been reading every moment I can. I'm reading so many books, but my pulls for the last week of January and the first week of February are January 29th books that I loved are Criminal number 12, Deadpool the End number 1, which is Deadpool the End is one of the best Deadpool stories I've ever read. Joe Kelly is one of the best Deadpool writers. Everyone can agree there, and he really put in the work with this last Deadpool story. The art by Nick Klein is fantastic. Read Deadpool the End. It is so good, so smart, so funny, so weird, so Deadpool. Loved it. Detective Comics Annual number 3. Detective Comics Annuals are pretty consistent. I don't always read every annual, but I try to. Detective Comics, this is a Alfred meets Batman story. Not meets, Alfred and Batman story. It is Alfred as an MI6 agent and then the lessons that taught Bruce as Batman. So it's this really cool multiple timeline story that shows you the heart of Alfred, that shows you the badass of Alfred, that shows you how Batman and Alfred's relationship was formed. It's a really great annual. It's full of a lot of heart, a lot of action. It's really interesting. I really dug it. Arkham James Jr., it was your fan cast. Thank you. I totally agree. Doctor Strange 2 by Mark Waid. It is a really cool story where he's a surgeon, so he has his hands back and he's practicing mysticism while also practicing doctor. He's a practicing doctor. Sorry, it's been like 40 minutes. I haven't taken a drink. I've been a lot of talking. Okay, Doctor Strange 2. It's only the second issue. You got plenty of time to catch up. Pick up issue 1 and 2. It is one of the best Doctor Strange runs I've read in years. Speaking of, Hawkeye Freefall. Hawkeye Freefall number 2. I just finished 3 this morning. This book is insane. Hawkeye Freefall is so funny. It's full of so many weird characters. It is Clint Barton-tastic. He's brilliant in this book. The writing is excellent. The art is bombastic. I am a big fan of this Hawkeye Freefall book. Immortal Hulk 30. I don't even have anything to say about Immortal Hulk anymore. It's just on my list. It is always dark, depraved, makes me think, shows me characters I love in new ways. Huge fan of Immortal Hulk. Jessica Jones Blind Spot. I missed this when it was out in digital. I'm now catching up on it in print. Jessica Jones, one of my favorite new characters of the last 15 years. This book is no exception. Kelly Thompson, brilliant at handling Jessica Jones, a very hard character to get right. New Mutants number 6, loving the New Mutants run out of Hoxpox. One of my top 3 favorite X-Men spin-off books. Big fan. Sex Criminals 26 returns after a year off. Sex Criminals is Matt Fraction on words, Chip Zdarsky on art. It's not for kids. Seriously. If you're over like 16, check it out. It is a good depraved time. I'm a big fan of Sex Criminals. Spider-Ham number 2. This book's so weird, it shouldn't work. I'm a big fan of puns. It is real good. Do check it out. It's a fantastic time. Thor number 2. Donnie Cates, Nick Klein, metal as hell Thor. Spoiler alert for issue 1. Spoiler alert. He's a herald now, so it's Thor as a herald for Galactus, so it's a really different take on Thor, obviously. When I talked to Donnie, which is the video coming, he talked about how he knew he was following Jason Aaron's Thor, so there's a visual metaphor in the first issue about taking over and how he's basically writing Thor from his perspective of feeling like he doesn't know how to follow Jason Aaron's run. It's a great interview. Donnie Cates is brilliant, obviously, but it was really cool to hear that perspective. Also in Thor number 2 is a very fun Death of the DC Universe nod, which I can tell you firsthand Jim Lee knew all about because they might have been around simultaneously. Like Donnie Cates was like with Jim Lee when he was writing all that, which is also in the interview. So the interview is a lot of fun. That'll be coming very soon to y'all. And then my final pick for X-Men number 5 is X-Men number 5. X-Men is the Hickman actual run post Hickman Hoxpox. It's real weird. It's great. All right. Let's see. Jenna James, I think Daddario is my rogue, but I do see a lot of people saying that for the fan cast. Okay. I'm going to jump into that after. I always do, by the way, read the live chat after the show. It's just I feel bad when people watch the show and my nose is in here. But I do read all of that stuff. I haven't read Wolverine number 1 yet, Ragged, but I will be. All right, my polls for February 5th, the first week of February are Ant-Man number 1, a really good jump on Ant-Man book. Big fan of this book. It was really funny. It was very Scott. It's a good book. Black Cat number 9. I don't know why Black Cat surprises me every time, but Jed MacKay is writing a very cool side Marvel quest. Black Cat is a great character that doesn't get enough love. Jed MacKay is writing the hell out of her. I've got a theory. Black Cat's doing really well. Marvel Spider-Man Black Cat Strikes is doing really well. I think they might be laying some groundwork for Black Cat being more popular, and I think Silver and Black's going to come sooner than we think. I think Silver and Black's probably going to be that date that Sony announced a while back as another Spider-Man film. I think Silver and Black got itself sorted out. I think all this Black Cat stuff's not a coincidence. I think Silver and Black is probably going to be like a 2022 release, maybe sooner. All right, we also got Daredevil number 17. Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil is one of the best Daredevil runs of all time, and that's saying a lot. He's following some of the best runs in comics, and he's keeping up. Chip Zdarsky, I don't know how he does it, man. That guy's so consistent. So Daredevil continues to be absolutely brilliant. I think Daredevil might have some of the best, if not the best, like 20-year run between, like, you know, starting with Kevin Smith and going to now. That is such a consistent run of Daredevil that's just been so inspired and different and brilliant. Daredevil is just everything right now. DC Comics Crimes of Passion number 1. This was a really different book. It was really interesting. It's hard to describe. I think it's going to be like an anthology book. It was really smart. It was fun. Immortal Hulk Great Power number 1. This was a fun book. This was Joe Bennett and Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk, but Spider-Man and him in a body swap situation. Spider-Man gets the Gamma, and Spider-Man keeps transforming into Hulk, and Bruce Banner stays with them. So it's this great, really personal one-on-one conversation. I really dug this book. It's really fascinating. Check out that. It's a one-shot. It's a oneer. It's all you need. Immortal Iron Fist Volume 1. I'm rereading the classic Immortal Iron Fist run. It is as good as I remember. It's the Kunlun stuff and the first Orson Randall stuff. I might be reading it for a certain comic book shopping guest. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. So I read that this week. Joker Harley Criminal Sanity number 3. Cami Garcia writes such levity in her kids' books and such darkness in her Black Label books. I dig this CSI Harley Quinn. She's fascinating. I'm a big fan of this run. Check it out. The art is gorgeous. The writing is fantastic. It's really dark. It's messed up. Read it after 16. Like, it's an adult book. Lois Lane number 8. What do I have to say about Lois Lane that hasn't already been said? This book's brilliant. Magnificent Miss Marvel number 12 continues her Silver Age Spider-Man feel. I love that Miss Marvel feels like old Spidey books. I love that the character's practically has a symbiote suit. She's got an artificially intelligent suit. It's a Kree suit in this case. Her villains all feel like hometowny. She's fighting for Jersey instead of Queens. It feels like classic Spider-Man. So I'm digging this Miss Marvel. Marauders number 12. I do gotta go soon. You're right. I got 5 minutes. Thank you, Brian and G, for keeping an eye on my clock. We got Magnificent Miss Marvel number 12. We got Marauders number 12. Marauders continues to be excellent. Miles Morales Spider-Man number 15. Spider-Verse number 5. And the big one, X-Men Fantastic Four number 1. Written by Chip Zdarsky, who I knew would write a great X-Men, didn't know it'd be this great, and the Dotsons on art. I love this book. I think it's going to be really interesting where we land with the young Mr. Richards. I do think it's going to be interesting that this actually works for me better than a lot of X-Men versus Fantastic Four stories or X-Men versus Avengers. The reason for conflict is one of the best reasons I've seen for heroes fighting each other. That's the best commercial I can give. It has heroes fighting each other, and it's one of the best reasons I've ever seen. So check out Chip Zdarsky and the Dotsons on X-Men Fantastic Four. Number 1, it is a really good book. I'm going to click over to the Streamlabs real quick, and then I'm going to speed read through what comics I think y'all should be picking up today. Today is a brand new comic book day, you Wednesday Warriors. I haven't even looked at this yet. I'm opening previews as we speak. These are the books that I would recommend that I'll be reading as soon as I possibly can. All right, new releases. New this week, today, February 26th. Man, I'm behind on comics. Over at Image, I will be picking up and reading. Let's see. No new Family Tree. No new. Okay. Sex Criminals number 27 and Redneck number 26. Those would be the ones I pick up from Image. That is Redneck 26 from Donnie Cates and Sex Criminals number 27. Over at Dark Horse. Let's see if there's anything for me. It is a small week at Dark Horse. Nothing for me over there. Let's click over to IDW. Kill Lock number 3. IDW. I love this Kill Lock book. It is ominous. It is inventive. It is incredibly smart. The characters are instantly relatable and they're robots. Kill Lock number 3. Big fan of that book. It is from the same writer and artist, and he's been developing this book for apparently forever. I want to get that guy's name real quick. Livio Raimondelli. Livio Raimondelli on art and writing. Brilliant book. All right, let's click over to DC Comics. My pulls this week over at DC are Action Comics 1020. We get to see the continued fallout of Superman revealing himself. Let's go with Batman Curse of the White Knight number 7, the second to last issue of this run, the penultimate issue. I love this White Knight book. I love its first one. I love the sequel. Murphy is brilliant. I think it's Sean Murphy. Batman Superman 7, some of the best art in comics. Man, there's a lot of great books this week. Detective Comics number 1020. Far Sector number 4. John Constantine Hellblazer number 4. Justice League Dark. Leviathan Dawn number 1. Shazam number 11. Suicide Squad number 3. Wonder Woman number 752. Wow, it is a big week of DC Comics. I will be picking up all of those. I will let you guys know in 2 weeks what I think of those books, because I am reading like so fast. Amazing Spider-Man number 40 over at Marvel. Amazing Spider-Man 40. Ant-Man number 2. Avengers 31. Black Panther 21. Fantastic Four Grim Noir number 1. I'm very curious about that one. Ghost Rider number 5. Jessica Jones Blind Spot number 4 of 6. Man, oh man, oh man. New Mutants number 8. Punisher Soviet. Punisher Soviet is one of the best minis of Punisher in a long time. It's Warren Ellis. That is out this week. Spider-Ham number 3. Marvel is putting out so many books this week. A really cool reprint of Wolverine by Claremont and Buscema. That is a number 1. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't read that run. X-Force number 8. X-Force is my favorite book post Pox Hawks. X-Men number 7. And X-Men Fantastic Four number 2. Good golly, Miss Molly, it is a good week in comic books. All right, I think that is all the time I have left. I'm going to be clicking over one last time to see if you guys have anything else I got to address. It is 1:45 on the dot. I did the damn thing. I got a 2 o'clock meeting, and we did it. The Schmoway asks, in the Streamlabs, in the spirit of Marvel's X, which Marvel character deserves the Alex Ross treatment for a full story? The Schmoway, that is an excellent question, man. I love that question. I would love to see Alex Ross take on which Marvel character. This is really selfish and biased. I would love to see Alex Ross do a Ben Reilly Lost Years tale. Remember that Lost Years mini that John Mater Jr. did, where he like kind of did his own thing? That way you'd have a 90s flavored comic. I'd love to see Alex Ross drawing what like 90s fashion, because it's really cool to see what the world looked like then, like his Marvel's proper run. I'd love to see an alternate take there. I'd also love to see a solo Doctor Doom story. I'd love to see Doctor Doom in Latveria with the Alex Ross painting, all of that beautiful art. And then Sue Storm. I feel like painting invisibility would be really cool, like the way that light is warped. Yeah, I'd love to see the way light's warped through the brush of Alex Ross. I'd love to see a painted Sue Storm tale, like within the Fantastic Four chronology. I think that'd be really cool. All right, and then okay. All right, y'all, this has been an insane week of comic books. I'm very excited to see what books I can pick up in the next 2 weeks. I'm going to keep you guys posted. The news this week was crazy. There's a lot going on. I'm going to jump on a Friday live stream, and then going forward after Tuesday. Tuesday I'm doing comic book shopping, as I told you guys earlier. I don't know what time I'm filming yet, but I probably won't be able to do a stream because I'll be with a guest in a comic book store. So, short of that, Tuesdays and Fridays henceforth. I'm hoping for Tuesdays at 2, except for this week. Apologies, filming comic book shopping. I'll keep you guys posted. Thank you for everyone that jumped in the Streamlabs, everyone that sent a super chat. Y'all mean the world to me. Thank you so very, very much. And until next week, thank you for joining me, and thank you, comic books, as always, for existing. Koi Pond, y'all are amazing. Thank you. For your post-credit scene, as we are swimming in the Koi Pond, and I had to close out, log out, re-log in, it is going to be nap time with Spidey. Today's post-credit scene is brought to you by this very handsome man who is just having a nap. Hi, Spidey cat. Hi, buddy. Did I wake you? I love you very much. Today's post-credit scene is brought to you by Cuteness and Handsome Kittens. And maybe it'll let me leave now. Hi, buddy. This is Spidey Cat. He's the best of us. He's purring. All right. Maybe that was enough time to let me log out. Hi, Spidey. Okay. Until next time, folks. Maybe we leave. Spidey, what do you think? Okay, he believes in us. See you guys.